I don't know. Anywho, let's move on to the Denver Broncos. So we were supposed to have Jordan here to talk about the Denver Broncos, but
we fired him.
Well, no, we just went a different direction as far as he's just not here this week. It's fine. We're going to handle this. So I will take the offense. I know that you all are probably going to be like, well, what the hell? Why do you get it? I haven't talked in a while. So we're going to start.
Hold on. I'm going to take the offense.
I'm not shocked. Let's talk about the Eagles. Hey, they have Travis. They have Travis Fulgham on this team. Remember when he was an Eagle a couple years ago?
Wait, Fulgham's there? They win for sure.
Exactly. So anyway, starting off the wide receivers, we got Courtland, Sutton, and Jeudy, and the often forgotten about but needs to be mentioned Tim Patrick lining up this wide receiver core. Courtland Sutton, I think, is your guy this year. I think Russell Wilson and him could build that chemistry easily. Joe is going to continue to pound the Jerry Jeudy is lazy, until it goes. And that take is going to get pounded in the ground, I'm sure, this season. But there's a chance that they use him in a Tyler Lockett role, which would be very intriguing, very tasty. And
thought about that.
What?
I haven't even thought about that.
Yeah, there's a chance. I don't know how Russell Wilson's gonna, but if he is smart, he will do that with them. So I think those wide receivers are good. They've got plenty of depth at wide receiver too. It looks like they're probably gonna have to cut a couple of them, but we'll just get to the man himself, Russell Wilson. So he moves from Seattle down to Denver. It was one of the bigger moves of the offseason. We don't know what Russell Wilson's got left in the tank. I'm not going to lie. He had a very disappointing end to the season in Seattle. It was perplexing at times, to say the least, watching him play some of those games, and kind of it seemed like he kind of forgot DK Metcalf was out there. Maybe he thought he was on a different team. Like, it was very strange to watch. But this is a chance for him to get back in. He's got a perfect running game behind him with Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. We all were hoping for the Javonte Williams bell cow back. He's going to get the lion's share of the workload. Doesn't look like that's going to happen, but I still see it leaning more towards Javonte Williams. I just don't see – I mean, Melvin Gordon was still fine last year, and I think him being there only muddies the waters for fantasy picks, but I still think Javonte Williams is the one you want on this team. And
I got to interrupt you here. I was going to wait, but I can't. I'm sorry, Bill. I'll let you go after this, but Javonte Williams is the man. There is a reason that Melvin Gordon was signed way later, is because they couldn't find someone that would complement it well. They went, okay, Melvin Gordon's still there. Sure. They are giving Javonte Williams the reins. Melvin Gordon will have a role, yes, but that's a good thing. This is a 2 running back game we're in now. Javonte Williams is still the man in Denver on running back. And like you said, we don't know what Russell Wilson's got in the tank left. So Javonte Williams is the man here. I had to interrupt there.
What round do you feel comfortable taking Javonte Williams? What, like, if you were at pick, let's say 7 of the second round, would you take Javonte Williams?
I do not like his ADP. I was hoping his ADP would reflect this Melvin Gordon signing. I do agree that his ADP is a little high. Fortunately, I own Javonte Williams in like every freaking league I'm in. So I will say I don't like his ADP for that matter, but I think that the risk outweighs the reward here, or the reward outweighs the risk. My apologies.
Okay. So I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I really don't.
Honestly, the running back falls off once we get to Saquon Barkley, basically, which is like the 8th running back or so. And you're really taking a risk on anyone at that point.
And this is still a run-heavy team. I still think, like, the problem is I think everyone out there just needs to manage expectations. Melvin Gordon is there. Melvin Gordon is going to steal some of the work. It's not always going to be, a Jonathan Taylor-esque week for Javonte Williams. There will be plenty of weeks like that. I guarantee you. You'll be happy more often than being unhappy with how that works out for Javonte Williams.
Well, the thing about them last year, even, they both scored 10 points every game, pretty much. So you're getting that. They're one of the most consistent running back duos you can get.
It's just the problem last year was
everybody. I still think this is the year for Javonte.
I don't think it's a Jonathan
Melvin
Taylor
Gordon
year.
looks really good still. I mean, he's up there in age. I know he's 29, but he looked really good.
I think we're a year away still.
Yeah.
I agree. I would have to agree. I still think he's a top 10 running back, though. I think that's one of the things that people don't realize. I understand the worries.
Feels a little rich, but okay. But
Tim Patrick's your wide receiver too. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, well, that's the Jerry Jeudy hate coming through. But
you did call that, by the way, Bill. Sorry, continue.
Before we get to that, I'm just saying Albert O is the tight end 1 there. I love that every fantasy analyst loves Albert O. I personally don't, and it just won't be that way for me. I will not be taking him. I don't think Russell Wilson utilizes the tight end properly. I just never will. I just will. The thing is, and maybe this is just my deep-seated hatred coming through, but ever since like he underutilized, in my opinion, Jimmy Graham back in the day when he went from the Saints, where he was perfect with Drew Brees, to when he got to Seattle, and we're like, oh, Russell Wilson throws a lot. Jimmy Graham's going to be great there. And it just never lived up to like the hype that we had during that summer when he got traded. And I think that's just always stuck with me. So I'm not hyping Albert O just from that deep-seated hatred of a thing that happened, 15 years ago? But still, I can't do it.
I have to. Are you actually done? I'm sorry.
No, that was it. Tight end was the last position.
So I have to 100% agree with you on the Albert O train. I'm going to get some words in before Joe throw some slander around Jerry Jeudy. But Albert O, I don't know why everyone got so hyped about him, number one in general. Russell Wilson has hated tight ends like his entire career. He never uses them. He had Gerald Everett last year. He had some pretty serviceable pieces in the past who had a couple good weeks here and there, but that was when he didn't have wide receivers. If he ever used tight ends, that was his fallback option. He had Tyler Lockett. He had DK Metcalf. He had thousands of other receivers before that. I don't understand Alberto. And then they draft a guy like Dulcich who can be phenomenal. Mm-hmm. So like, I don't think he's going to be, I'm not drafting Dulcich right away, but in Dynasty, absolutely go pick him up. He's probably on your waiver wire, or at least like some guys got him and they don't know what they have. So I just don't get so excited about the Alberto train. That graphic we saw by PFF or whoever it was with the slander
number
of him
5.
He was number like 5 or 6. And it was like, get the fuck out of here. No,
insane.
I'm glad the market has corrected the Alberto. He's going to God, because 16 right now.
Crazy there for a minute where he was being considered a top 8 tight end, and it was all hype.
Players when these trades are made that they just continue to go up.
Noah Fant left. That's what it was.
Yeah, but I mean, at least the market corrected itself, and we're not going to go into August with hearing people hyping Alberto as a top 8, top 7.
I think Noah Fant in Seattle will still have a better year than Alberto will with Russell Wilson. That is a thing I think is a fact. Noah Fant's more talented than Alberto.
Yeah, I just, it's hard for me to get behind it. But I will say on the train of Russell Wilson, I think Russell Wilson is my Matt Stafford this year. And not in the fact that he'll do exactly what Matt Stafford did last year. I'm saying Matt Stafford is always at the back 10 of quarterbacks. So in any league that I'm not drafting one of the big guys or one of the middle guys, I am getting myself Russell Wilson and actually pairing him with Matt Stafford because he's right there as well in that 10-11 spot, or like Aaron Rodgers or whatever. Like Russell Wilson's going to be a great QB 1 or 2, like that little flip-flop, because who knows what will happen. I will not start him week 1 100% because I want to see what's going to happen first. But I love Russell Wilson and where he's going, because that QB 10 that Jalen Hurts last year was that's a league winner, because you had a QB 4 for like 80% of the year and you got him for nothing because everyone else already drafted their guys. So I love the Russell Wilson.
I'm glad you compared Russell Wilson to Matt Stafford, because I'm going to tell you right now, I think the Tim Patrick and Russell Wilson connection is going to be the breakfast club of this year.
Oh shit!
That we are not talking about.
God. Oh my God!
You can go over it, man. I don't know why you people like.
No, I love Tim. I love Tim Patrick, but you just hate
I
Jerry
always
Jeudy.
Remember Tim Patrick.
No, I don't hate Jerry Jeudy. I just don't. I think he's on thin ice. I think first of all, with Russell Wilson, I think we saw a guy in Seattle that was just done with that organization, and he was not playing the way he should have been playing. Just because he was done. And I think he comes to the Broncos and he's got new life under him. And then he sees some lazy dude, some diva like Jerry Jeudy, run around out there, quitting on routes, not even trying for 50-50 balls because he doesn't like Bridgewater and Locke. I think he's on thin ice now. And I think Tim Patrick has shown time and time again that he is reliable. He has all the talent that Jerry Jeudy has. I think he's your new breakfast club.
I think you could be right about that. Possibly. I like Tim Patrick. They signed him back to the team, so you know that he's going to be somebody that they're looking forward to meaning something to that team. I still think Courtland Sutton's the guy you want on this team. I'm just going to go into the season thinking that for now. And I think this offense is going to be good. I just don't know how good. It's not. I'm not as excited as like the Chiefs. I'm willing to take dart throws because they have Mahomes. Chargers definitely not as exciting as that. Maybe not even the Raiders because they have Devontae Adams. I just don't know how excited I'm going to be for this. Offense.
I am excited for this offense. I don't know what's going to happen is the biggest question because we don't know what Russell Wilson's got left in the tank, and we don't know what Jerry Jeudy, if he can actually be that guy. Like I will give Joe credit. He was lazy, but honestly, I would be too because I'm not trying to get injured for Drew Lock throwing a crappy ball to a defensive back when you have 3 wins after 12 games. So
Fair enough. Okay, let's get on to the defense. Joe, you want to take it?
Yeah. I mean, we get a healthy Bradley Chubb for the first time in God knows when. So we'll see him. Yeah, you'd think, right? So him and they added Randy Gregory. So those two should create some chaos on the outside there. Josey Jewell's back and healthy. The linebacking core will always confuse me. Jonas Griffith actually looks pretty good at the end of the year last year. And we know they have a rock-solid defensive back. They got Darby, Justin Simmons, Pat Surtain looked awesome last year. And then Kareem Jackson to fill the strong safety role. But so there's a lot of question marks on this defense here. Josh, I'm going to put this one on a tee for you. Tell us about ex-Eagles star Alex Singleton.
Oh, man. I'm so glad you asked because I was going to talk about it. So I'm an Eagles fan, if anyone is just first now listener.
Oh, really?
I apologize. Yeah, no, I've only mentioned him like 3 times. Joe tried to bring up the Bears, and I was shut that shit down.
Yeah,
no, so Singleton's a terrible linebacker, but he's really good at tackling the guys who have already been hit. So that's literally 90% of his tackles last year, and he had a lot of them. So I am excited for Singleton because this defensive line is kind of a ragtag, honestly. Yes, they have Bradley Chubb. They have some other big guys out there, but they're not. There's no writable names here. We got Randy Gregory, who's had problems at Dallas. So there's gonna be a lot of guys hitting guys, and then he's gonna be like, "Oh shoot, sweet free tackle." I don't know much about Jonas Griffith. I'll be honest, but I think Alex Singleton will sign that role just out of sheer talent alone. He is an athletic person. He has some athleticity, as some of us might say, at offensive points. And then that secondary, I don't think I even need to mention Justin Simmons. That man is a monster among safeties. Kareem Jackson and I don't know K'Wan Williams, but Kareem Jackson's a good little backup safety there. And then Pat Surtain, we're hoping for a healthy season. We love seeing these young guys come out there, and I love the second guys, Pat Surtain the second, Asante Samuel Jr. So hopefully we'll get some action out of these guys. But it's a ragtag team. I'd say they're right around middle of the pack. Bradley Chubb being healthy is one of the coolest things in the world because honestly, I forgot about that man as a whole. So
hopefully a healthy season for Bradley Chubb. He might be a guy that you could target in a dynasty league right now, honestly. If
he's probably essentially free.
He probably is, and he's one of those guys where he has the chance to pop, but he might not ever be fully healthy again. That could also be a something that happens. So, all right. Before we move on to the over under, I just wanted to mention that there is a player on this team that's special to one person on this podcast, and that is Brett Rypien. He is the third string quarterback for the Denver Broncos currently, and Josh, I know you're a fan of Brett Rypien, so I just wanted to make sure.
Is it Rypien? I always thought it's pronounced differently.
Well, I don't remember.
You say one mistake, and people don't forget, man. They're like fucking elephants in this room.
All right. If you're new to the program, sorry, that's an inside joke from like the 3rd episode of this podcast.
Go listen to the 5th episode or whatever the fuck it was.
It was a hilarious mistake, and Josh will never forget it. Neither will we. So the Denver Broncos over under is 10.
I'm gonna need to hear these rattled off before I even make a bold.
Week 1, we get the Russell Wilson revenge game.
Hell yeah,
that's number 1
in Seattle.
for sure.
That's a dub.
We got the Houston Texans, the San Francisco 49ers, the Vegas Raiders. Then we get the Colts, the Chargers, the Jets, the Jags, the Titans, the Raiders, the Panthers, the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Cardinals, the Rams, the Chiefs, and the Chargers.
Oh, man.
I got to 8.
I think I had 7 or 8 there because I wasn't sure about a couple of them.
They got some real softballs in there.
They do have some softballs.
We're going to start 3-1.
Jacksonville play everybody this year?
It feels like it.
Everybody in the
definitely feels
AFC,
like
at
it.
least.
Are they playing 32 games?
How
so we
did they
just
get
don't
a
know
bad?
about it?
How did they get a bad schedule? Like they had what was the worst record in the league, right? How did they get the worst schedule? I don't. Perplexing, I guess. Poor AFC South, man.
I'm gonna take the under here, and
Me
it's
too.
only because I don't know what Russell Wilson still has. I'm excited for the new opportunity for him, but man, has he looked bad the last couple of years. I know he's been injured and he's had some situations with Seattle, and that team just never did anything. But he really fell off a cliff a couple of years back, and it just never came back to him. So he was fantasy relevant. I love him for fantasy, but for like wins, I could see some Chargers-esque losses here.
I'm going under as well, Joe.
This one's tough. I don't trust their defense at all, and especially in this this conference, or this division, you really need defense. Mark me for over. I love Russ.
Over.
I think it's going to
Over for
be
Joe.
I think it's going to be a show.
I just couldn't see it since it's an even 10. If it was 9.5, I think I'd take it, but I think that even 10 hurts me because I could see them pushing.
I